this damn thing. I gotta keep my phone off the table. Go ahead.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Not a Trekkie, an all Star Wars Everything podcast brought to you by Red Cyclone Inc. Everything from New Hope to Rogue One, even that Solo one, from Anakin and Obi-Wan to Rey left being the only one now. I cannot stress this anymore. There is no hate. But this ain't Stargate, this ain't Star Trek, this is Star Wars. I am your host, Tenacious T. Alongside me, the one, the only, the Merc with the mic.
What is going on? What is going on?
So we have a nice little shoot the shit episode of, what did we just get done watching?
The prequels.
The prequels.
The sequels. The sequels.
They're not that bad. I've seen worse movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
like I have.
So honestly, and to the point that we've been doing on the shout-outs to the Gets Better at Fair podcast, we've been doing all video game movies. And I've seen the bad.
Pretty bad shit. Go and check out those casts.
The last one was Dead or Alive, which I actually really liked.
Dead or Alive.
Yeah, it was based on that. You know the fighting game, Dead or Alive, with the girls with the jiggly boobs.
Vaguely, I don't really remember too much.
It had like a volleyball game and all that shit too.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we all know there could be. It could be a lot worse than what we got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, the whole Star Wars, the fandom behind it, and people are very anal about Star Wars. They put way too much energy and over analyzing, and you know what I mean? Like, there's people who fight people over talking shit about Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just envisioned them a bunch of slapping and hair pulling. You know what I mean?
and like armpit spray.
but out of the three movies, which we had episode 1, 2, and 3, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Which showcases basically, the beginnings of Darth Vader, from when he was as a child on Tatooine to becoming a
bitch.
Well, I wouldn't say a little bitch. He was
a little bitch.
Well, he cried a lot. You know what I mean? And
he was a little bitch.
And he's the thing is with him is he created all his problems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was that little whisper in his ear, of course, pushing him. You know what I mean? It's like you don't necessarily, not everything. People get up to that line, and all they need is a little push. You know what I mean? And I think that's where the Emperor Palpatine.
And he didn't do much either. He was just like, oh yeah, you gonna let him talk to you like that?
He did a lot. He did a lot in Revenge of the Sith. That's when he really Revenge of the Sith was all Palpatine. You know what I mean? Attack of the Clones as well. You started seeing a little bit of him and his major plan. In the first one, he was just posing as somebody else just to get his power. You know what I mean? I think he was probably the most consistent character in all three movies. Because I have problems with Yoda in these movies. I have a problem with Mace Windu. I have a problem with Anakin. I have a problem with Obi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have a problem with fucking everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's not enough for me to say that they're crappy movies. They're just not totally up to par.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We had an argument. We had the discussion about Phantom Menace.
Yes. It's never an argument. You know what I mean?
But it was kind of a back and forth between the first, and then little by little, when you were watching the rest of them, then you were like, "Oh shit, he's right."
No, it definitely makes sense. We don't need Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm.
I would have felt 100 times better starting with Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Having a little, maybe a flashback of a little bit of, them telling about where he came from and how he was found and stuff like that. But I could have used a movie where he was just becoming like a whole movie of him being Darth Vader.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
We had to
I
wait.
would have loved that. I think the fans would love that. You know what I mean? The fans would have to see a whole like we have to wait till Rogue One to see him again.
Yeah, the Undertaker just passed.
You know what I mean? Like the Undertaker.
The motorcycle. It sounded like a motorcycle, a truck.
Shout out to the Undertaker. But yeah, no, I just feel, man, that should have been the route. We should have never wasted. Don't get me wrong. There's some really cool things that was in the Phantom Menace that I really liked, and I love Darth Maul. You know what I mean? Like the lore of Darth Maul to me is just like the lore of Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Like, who is this fucking guy?
Before we get deep into Darth Maul, did you hear about what happened to Ray Park this week?
Nah.
So he's been trending on Twitter.
It's been a real crazy week for me.
So he's been treading on Twitter, and you want to know why? On his Instagram, he has someone blowing him.
Blowing him?
Yes.
I gotta go to his Instagram.
And then someone's asking, "Is this really him, or did he get hacked?" And his wife answered, "Like, no, it's him. He's that freaky. He's that nasty of a person."
That's fucked up.
I was just like, "Oh damn." So,
man.
shout outs to Mike. Mike Mike was hitting me up about he was telling me about he said Ray Park's trending. Why he's trending? So he saw like the King of Fighters trailers and shit like that, but he actually saw the real story and it was like, oh shit. It's like, damn, there goes the Darth Maul movie or show or anything that's gonna do
whatever they were going to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's it's funny.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like they need to showcase him more, and obviously we know where he dies. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to know more about Darth Maul, because Darth Maul just looked badass. He was badass. He was the only person who took down Liam Neeson in a damn movie, bro. Yeah. Liam Neeson has survived fucking everything. Darkman, every Taken, trains, planes, automobiles. The man lives through everything. And Darth Maul killed his ass. So
yeah,
I've always been a fan of Darth Maul, but like I said, it's more of the lore of like I want to know more.
Yeah, he was a cool character. He was an interesting character. He has an interesting he has an interesting cult in his species and his characters and shit like that. Especially if you dive in more into the lore and the Fallen Order. They showed that. They showed their island and shit and where they're from and things like that. So I would like to see the Explorer, but now I don't see it happening anymore unless they actually kind of. Because the funny thing is, even in the Clone Wars series that just ended, he was the voice of Darth Maul.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, I'm actually, I can't wait for us to get into that series so we can, see him again, even though it's animated and everything like that.
But I heard it's one of the best series.
I thought it was good. Yeah, I hear the same thing, and I'm excited for it. I mean, it's going to take up a lot of time, but what else is new?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many casts we're doing? You know what I
mean? Man, we have nothing but time with what we've been doing. So we've been catching movies. There's a lot of things that we've been doing. But again, this is so for these three movies. I will say. One, I personally would say one is worth fully watching. The other ones, I actually watched them. They're not that as bad as I'm putting them. I think, again, Phantom Menace is the one that I feel like it honestly did not need to be a movie. Like, the way, the space between Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace is just, that's the reason why I say it should not have been a movie. It's too much of a gap, yeah.
I just like Phantom Menace. I hate the kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the worst part of the whole shit. Don't get me wrong. Like the racing scenes with him, I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that was fun. That made the movie. You know what I mean? It's like Harry Potter when Harry Potter's. When they, let's get off the story and go play that fucking that game that they play. You know what I mean? It was just fun. It was a fun thing to win his freedom. You know what I mean? And I thought that was cool. I don't like the kid. I don't like fucking Jar Jar. Nobody does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's probably one of the most hated characters in all of Star Wars.
Yes, he is.
I'm being completely honest. That's the one thing that I completely 100% agree on.
Yeah.
Fuck Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, one time, a funny story. You could tell somebody who doesn't know Star Wars, like they're talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're like, yo, this guy doesn't really know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, like, have you ever really seen Star Wars? You know what I mean? And my boy Walker, shout out to him. He we were sitting down. I just bought the Blu-ray. The 1, 2, 3 on in one package, and 4, 5, 6 in another. And this was just before the Force Awakens came out, so I wanted to brush back up on Star Wars. So I ended up just marathoning it out. And my boy Walker comes in. He's like, "Oh, Jar Jar Binks! I fucking love Jar Jar Binks." I was like, "Bro, get the fuck out of my house, bro."
You're done.
You're
not welcome here no more.
You obviously never seen Star Wars if you said you like Jar Jar Binks and that he's your favorite character. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, dude,
I'm sorry, but shout out to him. That was just a little funny little story.
Like, just don't come into my house. Don't come over again. Like, get out. Get out.
It was good. You know what I mean? I've always had such a huge crush on Natalie Portman ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To see her, and like, she grew, and she aged throughout the years of watching it. Like, I did like the way she looked. Yeah, maybe in Revenge of the Sith.
She sucked.
And maybe. I mean, I don't think she was all that. I think she was more badass in Phantom Menace. I'll be honest with you. I felt like that was for her.
That one, I guess that one, and maybe Attack of the Clones, because she actually did fight and she did have action scenes and shit.
Yeah.
But as in the third one, I couldn't stand her character.
It was just her crying to him and fucking like trying to figure out what's going on with him instead of fixing him. You know what I mean?
Not trying. But also is the fact that she's supposed to be this royalty and to have this pedigree and things like that, and she wasn't really shown at all in that movie.
She was fucking, she was queen. She was like fucking, she was a queen, and then her time was up. So now she was a senator. She was, they kept her on the board and everything like that. So, you know what I mean? But like, cause she played both, she played her, and she also played the stand-in queen. Yeah. You know what I mean? So she had two roles in the movie. Yeah. So I did appreciate her a lot in that. You know what I mean? But in Attack of the Clones, I liked her even though she was fucking teasing the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Like, she's looking, you're saying that you can't do nothing, but you're wearing like the tightest leather to get your blood pumping. You know what I mean? Yeah. The guy's already on edge. You can fucking tell he's already battling demons in his fucking head. You know what I mean? So, if it wasn't for them, he would have never. If their relationship never happened, he would have never been Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like the woman can bring you down, man. You know what I mean? It's like, don't get married, don't have kids. The motherfucker should listen. But.
Yeah, that was that was the most like Attack of the Clone. It was just her teasing and things like that. But
yeah,
but then also he had the whole creep thing in the attack.
Bro, the man murdered an entire fucking.
Oh man.
An entire camp. Bro.
This was before the murder. This was before the murder, and he was still fucking creep.
I know, bro. But he was like so like. Bro, it's like obsessed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like manic and sad. Like, I can't live without you. If I can't touch you, you're like, what is wrong with you, bro? Calm down. You know what I mean? You don't have to be so emotional. Yeah. If this was real life, that boy would be fucking locked up and be doused up on medication and shit. Like, bro, you got some serious issues.
And have a restraining order.
You know what I mean? Like Yoda, we said it on the other cast. Like, Yoda was just fed up with shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. the fighting scenes with him and fucking Count Dooku.
Yeah.
Like that was cool. You know what I mean? Like you actually saw Yoda fight. We never saw that in 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I mean, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never really got to see anything with Yoda. He's just a wise man that was alive for 840 something years, 900 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still like go with what I was saying, and that he kind of knew what was going on. He just accepted shit, and he was just
like fuck you,
fuck yeah.
Or,
I want to see how I died.
Or it shows that Palpatine is actually stronger than Yoda, because Palpatine kept it hidden. You know what I mean? So it maybe the dark side, and they all hinted it when things were happening. You know what I mean? That if you notice in the movies, even with like Obi-Wan, he's like, yo, I sense a disturbance in the Force. I sense this, I sense that. That's because shit was brewing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Palpatine, he was doing everything so low-key that it just kept him off the radar. Like, he was the most consistent character in the whole shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he didn't start really using his powers until the third movie.
Well, we find out in Attack of the Clones that he is.
Yeah, but you don't
side.
see him actually use his power until like the third movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's seduced Anakin with the power that there was this one Jedi, one person that was part of the dark side that was able to resurrect people, because Anakin was dealing with all the the dreams of his mother was dying, and there's nothing he could do about it. His mother died in his arms. You know what I mean? Just so happens when he went there, that's when she died. You know what I mean? Like, and then she kept. He kept having dreams about, Padme, dying. And it's because of his dreams that caused her death. Because of his actions. If he never acted on it, it would have never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, he foretold his own future that he created by trying to stop it. You know what I mean? I think that's a pretty good, that's not a bad, plot and stuff like that. Like, you caused your own demise, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you gotta piss in a suit every day. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta hang out in an egg. It's the only way you can. That's your life now, bro. You choke people, which is the choking part is pretty cool.
He became a Pokemon.
But I would definitely
Pokeball.
Oh god. Like I said, we should have got another Darth Vader movie.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean, like a progression.
Yeah.
Just to see like the beginning stages of him and Palpatine, him and the Emperor, what they were going through, and how did they start fucking dominating? Because once Darth Vader they had control over the fucking clones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They whispered that one thing and they killed off basically all the Jedi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which was fucking genius, bro. That plan worked flawlessly.
What you could actually do, they didn't do it in movie-wise, but they actually did it in comic book form. The Darth Vader series on Marvel's Darth Vader series actually goes in the time when he first kind of gets the Darth. It's set after A New Hope. That's usually, I think that's where it's set, because you see him trying to getting the bounty for Han Solo. You see him talk to Boba Fett and things like that. So that's a good comic book to read, just to see like the reaction of just the personalities that him and Palpatine had, because Palpatine was a fucking dick still to him in the comic. And
well,
things like
further along in Not a Trekkie future, when we run through the movies and the shows, we'll definitely showcase the comic. We'll do like the first 10. We'll do it in 10 series. You know what I mean? We'll talk
so
about.
That's the reason why I just brought it up, because you're talking about like a movie being based on Vader, and that's something that's actually on right now. That's actually supposed to be in the story of Star Wars. That is kind of shows that side of Vader. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, I would have took a more. Like a more of approach of the beginning of the Death Star before, like even Rogue One kind of had. I think Rogue One was the movie that did it, but more on the Darth Vader side and seeing what he's doing for them to get the power and things like that.
Yeah, but also he would still be struggling. You know what I mean? Like I want to see more of the progression of him losing his his light, as I would put it. You know what I mean? Because the dark side, the light side of the Force, I wanted to see him fading out more and more. Yeah, when Padme died, that was the kicker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he still has to have some Anakin left in him. You know what I mean? And I wanted to see him continually battle that. You know what I mean? And fucking, I want to see what, because we know what happens to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan goes to Tatooine. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he fucking stays there and he doesn't do shit. He just gets old and wanders. He becomes the creep that just hangs out with the riders out there and shit, right?
Hey.
And he turns into changes his name to Ben Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi.
But he was mainly there to look after Luke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be like the shadow godfather sort of.
So like the thing with one of the things that like again going into the whole thing with Vader in the comic, he questions Palpatine like all the time, and that's kind of showing the Anakin side of things because he doesn't see some of the logic of what the things that he's trying to do. And there's like a part where he kind of makes other like half men, half robot motherfuckers, and Vader was like, "What?"
see what I want to know. What was the Emperor's game plan to take over everything?
Yeah, I would.
You can't take over you can't take over space, bro. It's too big.
We might have to have a movie of like the Star Wars, the dark side view. So it follows two of the stormtroopers and their story, and pretty much shows all the plans and what's going to happen. And shit.
See, because what is the most continuous thing that Darth Vader and Palpatine always talked about was taking over the rebellion and bringing order and peace to the universe.
Yeah.
What is so bad about that?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Maybe because it's not free will. It's like you're gonna listen to it. So it's like a dictatorship. It's like, we're gonna bring order and peace, but we're giving you the order and peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're in charge of what is ordered and what is peaceful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and the rebellion, obviously, they don't want to be, they don't want to be part of that.
So it's like it's like someone ordering your food and picking your order instead of you having a choice in your order.
Listen, if they pick some good shit, I don't mind it.
But
you give me some chicken wings, you know
but
what I mean?
But they always pick your order, and they don't let you pick.
It's like, you are going to eat olives, and you are going to like it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're gonna keep
because it's peace,
yeah, exactly.
And this is peace and order.
Yeah, exactly.
If not, you're dead. I'm gonna kill you.
Exactly.
So be peaceful in an orderly way, or you're dead.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It looked like not too many people changed their ways. There's still clubs, people partying, fucking doing all their shit. You know what I mean? So
it's crazy.
And then fucking Darth Vader in 4, 5, and 6, he was just more focused on trying to fucking find Luke and Han Solo. He was obsessed with that shit.
Yeah.
So. But we're not talking about those movies.
Yes, we did the shit for those. So the whole thing, we had some interesting characters in these movies, like the asthmatic robot.
Yeah, General. I forget his
General
name.
Grievous.
Grievous. Yeah, Grievous.
General Grievous, the asthmatic robot.
Yeah, like he was a robot with like human tendencies, so he just had to have fucking asthma to make himself look fucking like human. I don't know. He was funny, but he was a badass character.
He was a cool character. He was a cool character.
You know what I mean?
Like he was a cool character. Jango Fett and the story, how the clones and the stormtroopers, kind of like the origin stories of the stormtroopers, kind of made sense in that way. I kind of dug that. I thought it was cool. The fact
I like seeing the stormtroopers without the helmets on, and you can see it was Jango Fett.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And there's different evolutions of him.
Yeah.
There was ones that were created for one thing, and then one that was created for another, and then another. You know what I mean? And the fact that we find out that Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett, and he just raised him to be his son. It's kind of weird a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, you clone yourself and raise yourself.
Yeah, because were there any females clones?
Not that I
No,
know
they
of.
didn't female clones, so that would. I actually think I don't even want. I don't even want to think about that. I don't want to know.
Let's not dive down. Let's not dive down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, let's not go there. I've already kind of discussed myself with that. I was like, damn.
But like as much of the good characters we had some real shitty ones. You know what I mean? Like I hated all of Jango Fett's people. Not Jango Fett. Jar Jar's, the whole community.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought where they lived was cool. You know, like that underwater fortress, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
But they were horrible. You couldn't understand the word they fucking say, man.
Yeah.
And then Jar Jar becomes this fucking Jedi dude. You know what I mean? Like, Jar Jar, what did he really do?
He fell in style, I guess, because everything he did was accidental. So basically,
it was just luck and coincidence.
It was accidental.
You know what I mean? So he's like, oh shit, I became the man by accident. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Because he happened to blow up ship by accident.
Yeah.
He's
like Count Dooku. I thought he was cool. You know what I mean?
He was interesting. This was also gave me the whole thing is how many apprentices did Palpatine have?
Yeah.
Because all these motherfuckers are his apprentice, and I was like, yo, how many?
Well, an apprenticeship. He's building a company, so
I understand that, but he's supposed to only have.
What I mean?
Well, then again, the Sith Lord doesn't go by Jedi, so he probably had like 20,000, and he just likes the younger ones.
And didn't he trained his apprentice was Quan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what he used against Obi.
Yeah.
Like I'm the one that taught. Basically, I taught you. You know what I mean? If I tossed your fucking Quan, I'm your shit. You know what I mean? Like.
A lot of this shit wouldn't have all happened if Quan Jin, if they just didn't believe his ass.
Yeah, like shut up and sit down, bro. How many times? Stop chasing pussy, man. Because how many kind of situations we got in because you grew your hair out and you fucking now you're trying to get some booty. You know what I mean?
Because Quan Jin was pretty much the blame for everything.
Well, yeah, but technically, he went against what everybody told him to do.
That's why it's all his fault. I mean?
He's like, no, he's like the Force was talking to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was fucking wrong. I'm sorry.
You gotta lay off that weed. Force wasn't talking to him. It was Palpatine.
Keep meditating, bro. You know what I mean? You just fucked Obi-Wan's life up. You know what I mean? And they had quarantine haircuts. They didn't know what the hell to do. A whole head shaved, but a braid hanging out at the side of your head. You know what I mean? But what you call it? Like at the end of Revenge of the Sith. You know what I mean? He was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to Tatooine. But he wanted to learn more about the Force side of it, like the spirit world of it, because Quan was trying to transmit and come back in. Like that was so dumb. You know what I mean? Like that was a bitch way of Obi-Wan should have went out and did more shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Uncle Owen had everything situated.
Yeah. But yeah, it's all Quan Jin's fault.
Yeah, it definitely is. Fucking idiot. Know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah.
That's what Mace Windu should have fucking did. Like, yo, Quan, shut the fuck up and sit down, bro.
Yeah, we needed a more stern Mace Windu. I felt like he wasn't as stern as he should have been. Dude, you got a purple lightsaber. You're the only one that has that. You had to show more balls.
Well, it's funny because Samuel L. Jackson wanted to be in the Star Wars world so bad. So when George Lucas was talking about making this shit, he had his agent get a hold of him because he specifically said, he was like, yo, I want to be in fucking Star Wars. And the guy and George Lucas wasn't really sold on it at first. He was like, motherfucker, just put a lightsaber in my hand, and I'm gonna show you what it is. You know what I mean? And then what ended up happening was he ended up getting the call.
Yeah.
And then he flew in, and you know that's the way. But then again, that's Samuel L. Jackson. He's in everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So when I see him in Star Wars, I don't believe him. You know what I mean? I don't believe
Why
you,
Nick
bro.
Fury here?
I don't know why is there snakes on this motherfucking plane?
Yeah.
And, you know, it must have been hard for him not to curse while he was filming.
Yeah.
Because this is what Disney takes over after these three.
Yeah. I you know what's funny is that I kind of wish that he had like that one motherfucker rant.
Yeah, just one.
Just
you know
one,
what I mean?
and that would be like on Anakin. Why he shouldn't be his child.
Or he should have did it on Quan, bro.
Yeah,
He should have
exactly.
definitely.
There you go.
He should have definitely did it on him. Like, yo, like, shut the fuck up and sit down, bro. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
We can't train a kid that's already tampered. You have to do it from birth.
Yes.
You know the rules. You know what I mean? He brought a fox in the hen house, bro.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened. And then suckered Obi-Wan, who doesn't know any fucking better,
Yeah.
to do that. So he's a selfish prick.
Yeah.
Quan. I'm gonna beat him up. I got his big ass toy over here. I'm gonna fuck him up in a minute. He missed everything.
Yeah.
But you know, through this movie, there was a pretty decent toy lines that came out at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was definitely profit in these, and I know they made
yeah,
a lot of
100%.
money in the theaters. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. They all did good. They all was successful.
at this time, you know, all the kids that watched the movies, you know, back in 77 and 80 and 83 and stuff like that. Now they're all adults with their kids, so it's like they got to have that moment of bringing them, and it's unfortunate that they probably left very disappointed.
No, but
maybe not the kids, but like these are, you can tell they're more kiddish. These ones,
yeah,
you
but
know what I mean? Like,
I know, like, especially a lot of the new generation that actually watched these first, they actually prefer them. So it's a big mix of a batch, depending on what age they were when they saw them the first time.
yeah. I mean, I'm not really biased towards anything. I do enjoy the originals better.
Yeah.
Just honestly for nostalgic purposes, and remember where you came from, kind of stuff. And then as time goes by, you can tell they're just trying to like merchandise and make money, and it's becoming very commercial and watered down a little bit.
Yeah. But they try to recapture that feeling, especially with the new generation as well. Like, I know for a lot of people that watched the original Star Wars from like when they first came out in theaters and shit like that. And when you actually hear them talk about Star Wars, it's a whole different level. Like, you see tears come out their eyes when they fucking talk about it.
Yeah, man, that's like a general life, to them. You know what I mean? Like, they were part of history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
so it's a different take when you actually try to introduce this new, and you being the Star Wars fans all your life and having that feeling, stuff like that, and then watching these, and then you're hoping your kid will have it, but your kid's like, man,
like, Dad, I want to go outside and play fucking
what is this shit?
Bro.
Yeah.
I don't want to play Dungeons and Dragons, Dad. I got the new N64. Why the hell do I want to play Dungeons and Dragons?
Dungeons and Dragons is fun.
I've never actually played it, and I really want to.
I have played a few times. My buddy Raph, he does games. So I've done maybe 3 different ones. I did one as like medieval. I did one kind of futuristic and shit. It's interesting. If you got a good storyteller, a good a dungeon master, it's a fun game.
See, I also feel like these movies came in at a bad time. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, it was the infancy of CG.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, in the world that we're in, we're surrounded by it. You know what I mean? It's like, and the advancements of that technology is like, you feel like you got, like, it was cheesy because of the infancy of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if they would have made the prequels nowadays instead of doing fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I do like the newest trilogy. I did enjoy it, but like if they did prequels now with the technology of today, the possibilities could have been endless.
One thing I will give this movie credit, because this is something that we rarely got in the original trilogy, besides the Vader Luke fight, was the lightsaber battles. We only got like 1, 2 maybe, and there weren't really like lightsaber battles in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
The rest were
yeah, this one we actually got to see like real. You actually saw
and then also going into Disney, which we're going into next. You actually saw the lightsaber battles. You saw even though they kind of look ballet-ish at times, but it was nice to see the actual sword fighting and things like that, especially with Darth Maul, especially with even Count Dooku. Like his sword was fucking weird, but he had some good scenes with like Yoda. The last fight between Kenobi and Anakin was solid. Like, at least we got to see some things different, new with that, is the actual Jedi sword fight.
Yeah, like, because what is better than hearing the score in the background get really amped up, and then you hear the lightsaber, you know what I mean? And then, like, fighting and hearing them, like, move, and, like, because it was very mechanical and, you know, in the original one, there was no real, you know, like movement and like it was exciting, you know, for its time. But this was like the first time where it was like hardcore. You got fucking Darth Maul with a double-sided lightsaber. You know what I mean? Getting tagged up by two dudes at the same time and whooping their ass. You know what I mean? Like you saw shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you saw shootouts and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like. Just Jango Fett trying to get away alone. Like, that whole big scene was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, in the rain. Like, there was a lot of visually beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when they went to that city to go find Jango Fett. Like, the aliens, and I said it in our cast, like, the aliens, the eyes of the aliens and the way they looked amazing. You know what I mean? So, these movies did have some really good eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just some fell to the wayside, you know what I mean?
I actually think the prequels were visually, they were stunning movies. I actually think they held good with it. Like I think it keeps up to what it is. I didn't feel like it was really bad CGI or anything like that. I thought they were solid CGI. But again, it was the beginning of the 2000s and stuff like that, so the technology has changed. But for what they had, I thought they did a good job.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. You know what I mean? I felt like they tried to make it somewhat 3D in a way.
They try to just make it like fancier, but then again, if you actually really think about it, and like where they started in the prequels, and then what the original ones, the time of the original ones in the middle, like the ships are going to be ruggedy. They're not going to be shiny. They're not going to be clean and things like that, because they are in a war. They're still in a war. As in this one wasn't really a war just yet. So they had the nicer jets, and they had the fancier things and things like that. Everything was more shinier and things like that, because
it's just with the old ones, they built everything. The scenes they were where they filmed.
It has nothing to do with the way it's filmed. It's just that it makes sense for the vehicles to be rugged during the time period of the movie. Not the fact that it's in the 70s or shit like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what transpires through the movie at that time.
See, what I was saying was, what I liked about the old ones over the new ones is that they had to build everything. Like Yoda was an actual puppet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then when we flash over to this, it's everything's CG and stuff like that. So.
But the thing that I was not even talking about in that visual aspect of things. I was talking more about, you see the duration of war throughout the galaxy. So by episode 4, 5, and 6. The jets are kind of rickety. Everything, like all the Rebels vehicles and stuff, are kind of rickety and kind of like.
Yeah, they're not spending their time fucking scrubbing the back of their fucking. They're spending their time fixing the things that got messed up, so they can go out and kick some fucking ass again. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But in the beginning, and in the prequels, the ships and things like that were a bit more shinier and stuff like that, because again, this is before. like the Rebel Alliance had to like go get bunkers and fucking war times and things like that. So there's a big difference of how the vehicles look, because even in going into the later ones, they still are fixing things. They still scavenging for parts to make a fucking vehicle kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like as the war's going, supplies are getting thin, and they're putting shit together with fucking duct tape and bubble gum and fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times did the Millennium Falcon, as much as it's such an iconic spaceship,
it
was made fun of in every fucking movie.
Yeah.
Everybody said it was a piece of shit. You know what I mean? I love that.
Yeah.
But one thing I was pretty disappointed in was like C-3PO, and you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were just thrown in there just to have like a token of the past. You know what I mean? Like, they just had to have been in it. Like,
well, they showed, at least they showed where they came from.
Like, Anakin Skywalker made C-3PO.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then R2-D2 is probably the most hands-on droid ever. He saved the day in every fucking movie. You know what I mean?
Got no medal.
No nothing. You know what I mean?
No nothing.
Same thing with Chewie. And we got more into Chewie's world.
Yeah.
And stuff. You know what I mean?
We actually got introduced to Chewbacca in the beginning.
Exactly, and we saw his family and the community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was cool, man.
I want to pet Chewbacca.
Gotta rip your arms off.
They rip everyone else's arms off, and I'll take their money.
Especially if you cheat in that chess game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But what would be your order for this? Obviously, for like best to worst.
Revenge of the Sith, I'll say, is the best one of the three.
Just bring it down. It's
3-2-1. Yeah, 3-2-1. I feel like even 2, I tried to like it more than I try to focus more into it and try to enjoy it more, but there was just a lot of things there was a lot of loopholes in that movie in general. It was just, again, I felt like, Phantom Menace was just way too many. It was way too much space to continue from, and it had me question everything because it was so much space.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, I'll say Revenge of the Sith is the better one of the prequels, and even that one I had a lot of problems with as well. If you listen to our past cast, I had my problems too, but it was the better of the three.
I think the ending of Revenge of the Sith is probably one of the greatest scenes, like, in Star Wars history. I always thought it was number one until I saw the ending of Rogue One.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
It's a good scene.
To see how Darth Vader becomes, and how, you actually see him get put into the suit, and then have James Earl Jones just doing it for your voice. No! Like, I don't know, that was just epic to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always rank that so high on the greatest moments in Star Wars. So I don't think that these originals were bad at all. I just think that they could have been better.
Yeah.
I feel like the acting could have been better.
Oh, so much better.
And the direction, and now I do agree with, it took me a bit, but Phantom Menace should have never happened. And we should have got another movie with him as Darth Vader.
The rise of Darth Vader.
I would have loved to see him whoop some fucking ass, man. You know what I mean? And just take shit over. Would have loved to see that.
The third movie could have been called The Rise of Vader.
You know what I mean? Like him having problems with the councils and shit like that. You know what I mean? 'Cause
him choking out everybody. What?
like we've always said, that they're like a board of trustees. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally what they are.
Yeah.
Darth Vader isn't the hierarchy of nothing.
No, he's not.
People question him all day long, talk shit to him. The only thing that he has is zero patience, and he will kill you. You know what I mean? That's it. He's actually a nobody.
Yeah.
Who is he? He's not a general. He's not, he's just somebody who's a badass that nobody wants to fuck with.
He's not even a Jedi Master.
You know what I mean? Like, well, that's Neither was his son.
Yeah, neither was his son.
The bunch of frauds.
Bunch of frauds. They are. Luke and Anakin, a bunch of frauds.
You've been fooling us for too long. You've been fooling us for 50 years, motherfucker. You ain't shit.
Yeah, man. But,
yeah,
they're done. Those are the 3 movies.
Yeah, man. I mean, I enjoyed going back and rewatching them and taking my notes, because when I take my notes, I learn more and I focus on things more. Yeah. And stuff like that. So I did go back, because now, you know, I learned a lot more, and now my knowledge of Star Wars has grown. So It wasn't a waste of time. It was good. I do highly recommend you listeners out there, if you have not seen them, go and check them out. But I do prefer you to go watch 4, 5, and 6 before you do 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. All on Disney Plus. It's not a plug. I wish they gave me a plug, but it's not a plug.
Because I hate. Everybody, no, you got to do it in order. You got to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, no, because then you'd be doing 1, 2, 3, Rogue One, 4, 5, 6. You know what I mean? And then you'd be watching The Mandalorian at one time in between Return of the Jedi and this. And you know what I mean? Like, it would complicate so much things. Just do it in cinematic order, man.
Yeah. Like, it's fine with that way. Like, it kind of gives you... See, honestly, I think watching, like, the remastered versions of the sequels just kind of pissed me off more than watching the new ones.
When the original ones were so much better.
Yeah. It was just like the ghost Anakin just pissed me off. And things like that. It's just like,
Yeah.
Like,
no, I get it.
Why you have to add these things?
Like, Lucas, it's a movie, bro. Just leave it in the time that it was. It's not an ever-growing story of art. Like, he tried to make it art.
He's like picking a scab. Like,
you know what I mean? And the worst part about it, he only directed A New Hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What gave you the right to go and touch somebody else's shit?
Yeah.
I understand you owned it, right? But that's somebody else's vision. That's somebody else's art. That's like me going up to the Mona Lisa and touching it up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this little section doesn't look too good. Let me fucking put my brush to that canvas. You know what I mean? It makes no sense. That's disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's like, your shit wasn't good enough, so I have to add this shit in there.
Sadly, the one that he thinks is not good enough is the best one.
Yeah, but I think that's just a jealousy thing.
Because he's envious. Because you can't make it.
He's like, motherfucker.
Anyway.
Like, bro, you're the birth child of imagination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a Stan Lee of his thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And then he also had Indiana Jones as well.
Yeah, but that was also Steven Spielberg as well.
Yeah,
that had his influence on it. You know what I mean? So he might have wrote it, but Spielberg, that's his. Mm-hmm. Those are his babies. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's true. All right.
But no, so we can wrap this up. I thought that was a good shoot the shit of the original 3.
So coming up next on the next Not a Trekkie episodes will be the Disney generation of Star Wars flicks. We'll be doing episode 8, 9, and 10, or 7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9. We will be tuning back in with The Force Awakens.
Yes. The Force Awakens.
Yes. Which, cinematically, when it first came out, oh my god, man, the whole world was blowing the fuck up when this was
And then
happening.
I watched it, and I was like, this is just a New Hope, just with a new pink color.
Listen, I know you have your problems with it. I am the complete opposite with you.
It was a New Hope
with these movies,
with
man.
new paint.
But you're not the only person who said that. There's a lot of people out
there
that agree with you. No, it is. But there's no greater moment of the new movies than watching Han Solo and Chewbacca walk back into the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was such a great scene. I enjoy. We're gonna get into that later. You know what I mean? We're gonna have
rewatch it again.
We're gonna have a whole cast on that. So
yeah. So starting with Force Awakens, we'll be doing the next Not a Trekkie podcast. We're gonna wrap this up. This is Not a Trekkie podcast by Second Link. I am Mark with the mic. He is Tenacious T. Follow us on all social medias. We on Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitch TV, all Mark with the mic. Follow us our Facebook pages, The Wrestling Inc. and the Wrestling Babble pages. Follow our other podcasts, Shell Shock, the Gamer Rage podcast, the Morphin Cast, Gets Better as Rare podcast, and the Wrestling Babble. And did I miss one? No, I didn't.
No, I zoned out while you were saying it.
Yeah, follow all those. Check out our last cast of the Not a Trekkie. We did we did all the prequels, we did all the original series, and we had Shoot the Shits in between. Check those all out as well. The Game of Rage and then the Morphin Cast is brand new episodes that aired, got put up last week. So there's a lot of stuff. Enjoy.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share it. Tell us what you think about it. Drop some comments. Just say hello. We'd like to talk to people.
Yep. We'll wrap it up. Follow Tenacious T on.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Tenacious TRC Inc.
Yep.
On Twitter. You can follow me on my personal Instagram, T_DA_Tots. TOTS.
Yes.
Which I just changed my name. You can holler at me on there. Bullshit with me about any type of geek shit, because this is what we do. Always a faithful shout out to Game On, a retro video game store based out on Long Island. 2 locations, one in Miller Place and one in Smithtown. I always accidentally switch it up from Setauket to Smithtown. It's actually Smithtown.
Yes.
So I always mess that up, and I apologize to Tristan for that. They just signed a 5-year contract to stay in that building, so we have more and more retro video games to buy and sell. Come out on Long Island, check it out, support local business. You can check them out on Facebook at Game On Miller Place, and also on Instagram, Game On MP. Something like that. Game On MP. We'll put that in the description.
Yeah, I'll put it in the link
below. But congratulations to them for doing their things. Tristan is a very, very good dude. The whole staff is very good. So shout out to them. Also, I always have to give a shout out to the person who put me on and made me the lover that I am for the Star Wars world. I always give a special shout out to my boy Michael Wazowski, because without you, I would not be in this position right now to even be talking about Star Wars. I also always give a shout out to my brother, because my brother James has been ride or die with me throughout these ages of watching Star Wars. Every time we get into a conversation or something, we end up watching them all anyway. So shout out to him.
And peace out, laters, and always remember, follow Jinkies. And fuck Zordon.
Fuck Zordon.
In every single cast, fuck Zordon.
Fuck Zordon, that's like our trademark. Put that on my tombstone when I die. Fuck Zordon.